Hello my beautiful people, welcome to your Libra Full Moon forecast with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. So as you can see, I've got my trusty notes as always, and I just want to say a massive thank you so much for the amazing response that I got for the Aries new moon video. I really didn't expect it to do that well. As you guys know, I'm not as confident with the astrology as I am with the tarot, mostly because I've been doing it a lot longer, but also because I don't know why, it's really weird. Like I kind of feel like this charlatan. I feel like anybody, like at any minute now, and somebody's going to be like, why are you doing astrology? You're awful at it. Yeah, thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for allowing me to read my many notes, and I really hope that this helps you moving forward. So with that said, let's get straight into it. So what is a full moon? A full moon is when the sun and the moon are opposing each other. And so what happens here is we are seeing the full illumination of something. Now, the way that I talk about a full moon, a moon cycle in general, so you want to think about this like a pregnancy, right? And so the new moon is where the sun and the moon come together. That's the conception point. But the full moon, it's like when a woman is pregnant, that is the time where it's the end or the completion or the culmination of the pregnancy, but it's the revealing of the child, and it's the beginning of the life of the child. So while a full moon is a completion, it is an end point, it is a moment at which something comes to an end, it's also a grand beginning or a grand revealing of things, right? Because remember, when the baby comes out, it's revealed to the world. So full moons tend to put a highlight or a spotlight on things, and when they're in a specific area of our chart, it's highlighting that for us. So that being said, I'm always using whole sign astrology. I'm always using the tropical zodiac, so that you know, just so that you're clear on how I'm coming to these conclusions, etc. It's always good to check your sun, your moon, and your ascendant, just to see how they're going to speak to you and which part of this actually feels more relevant to you. Do you have a night chart? Do you have a day chart? How does this really play out for you is going to determine, like, it's going to be dependent, obviously, on your own unique birth chart. And I don't have all of those, and this would be you know, a billion-year long video if I were to go into all of that kind of stuff. So I hope that clarifies a few things for you as we get into it. So what do I want to talk about here? I've talked about the sun and the moon, what is a full moon, etc. What I also want to talk about is the heightened sensitivity that comes with a full moon. Whenever the moon is full, you can speak to doctors, nurses, especially ones that work in the accident and emergency room. You can speak to bouncers that work on the doors of a club. You can speak to police officers, and they will all tell you, they all look out for the full moon. And this is not like, I'm not making this up. This is genuinely a real thing, because they know around that time, everything and everyone gets a little bit more touchy, a little bit more sensitive, and the energies and emotions of all of us are that much more heightened. So a full moon brings things to the surface, and it makes us all that much more sensitive. Sometimes that sensitivity is emotional, sometimes it's physical for some people, and sometimes it is psychic and or spiritual. So I got a lot I want to talk about with this full moon. So this full moon is taking place here in the sign of Libra, right? So as you can see, the moon, or Luna as I affectionately call her, is kind of out on her own out here, but she's making some very interesting aspects to everything else that's going on in the sky at the same time. So it's taking place at 26 degrees of Libra, which is setting up a T-square with the nodes, as you can see. And not with the nodes, sorry, it's setting up a T-square with Saturn over here. So tongue-tied, oh my gosh. It's setting up a T-square, I'm so sorry, with Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. Whew, see, I get all flustered because I'm like, you're a charlatan, why are you doing astrology? So Pluto is in the sign of Capricorn and is anchoring both the full moon itself in Libra, and also the sun over here in ARIES, right? So that in itself is a T-square is quite a tense sort of aspect because you're being pulled in different directions. And so what I talk about with any sort of square energy, it's something that makes you uncomfortable enough to do something about it. You have to make a change because it's like, I don't like this experience. I don't like the intensity that it's causing. So I'm going to have to do something here in order to alleviate that. So what I've put here is, there's obviously the moon is our environment, and so we've been building up to this full moon for the last 2 weeks now. Because we've got Pluto as the anchor here, this can be like a deeply transformative kind of energy. But what are we talking about there? So because this is happening in the cardinal signs, if you've got anything in Cancer, your sun, your moon, your ascendant, or any important, well, all the planets are important, but you get my point. What's happening here is the systems of your life in some way, shape or form that need to be changed, that need to be adapted or evolved, are coming up to the forefront. This is a time where you could feel that sort of push and pull energy. The second part of this is where we're going to see intangible reality, where a small portion of the energies are starting to really become real and or tangible. And then what I've got here as well, it could also highlight where there are blessings and wealth to be had, because we're digging deep and getting real about what is superfluous in our lives or what is broken or outdated. And the reason I say that is this energy of Pluto, yes, it's been in Capricorn for quite some time, but it is square to this full moon, which means the full moon is illuminating something. Pluto brings things up from that deep sort of, it's literally the dregs and the silt, you know, it's the oil, it's all of those things that are under, that are beneath, can now really have a time where they are seeing the light of day, because they're coming up in that square to the sun and the moon, which are both what known as what in astrology, they're not planets, they're luminaries. They illuminate things, they shed light on things. And so Pluto is digging up those, you know, possibly secrets, you know, things that are held underneath or held back, the things that aren't necessarily common knowledge, etc. And the luminaries are saying, right, okay, I'm going to pour my energy into that so that we can highlight what is actually being pulled up here. So, and this is the thing as well, Pluto is not adverse to wealth. It loves wealth. It loves like the hidden money, the big money. You know, Jupiter conjunct Pluto in anybody's birth chart, that's, you know, they call it the millionaire maker. So interesting stuff. Now with Saturn here in Aquarius setting up a T-square to the nodes, so you have to forgive me, I got so flustered at the beginning, so forgive the mistake. Setting up a T-square to the nodes in the signs of Scorpio and in the signs of Taurus, right? So that's another energy that's playing out. And again, it's that square energy. Now this, again, somewhat more slow moving, but it is being activated here because the full moon is trying to Saturn, but Saturn is at the same time squaring those nodes. So what this suggests to me is Saturn is, yes, it's limitations and, you know, it holds things back and it stops us having things immediately because we have to really work for it. But it's also a crystallizing, a hardening kind of energy. It takes something that isn't necessarily solid or tangible and it gives it that tangibility. It starts to crystallize or harden things. It's kind of like, you know, you put clay in the kiln in order for it to become solid so that there's no more, you know, kind of putty and all the rest of it. What that suggests to me is when Saturn's connecting here with that full moon, whatever is being highlighted at the moment, especially if you're launching something new, it has the chance to really be something, you know, that lasts or stands the test of time. Now, this, obviously this T-square is going to be setting up the fixed signs. So we've got the Aquarius, which is where Saturn is. We've got the South Node in Scorpio, the North Node in Taurus. And then if you've got anything in Leo, that's going to be getting a hit of this energy as well. And this is where things are rigid, where they are stuck potentially, where they are not moving, where they need to move, where something does need to change or evolve. So what I've got here is this can be this T-square with Saturn and the nodes could literally be implementing a stop, look and listen policy. It's like you're having to stop in your tracks to look at the way that something actually is versus the way that we idealize it to be. This is, I've also put here, we've got, this is a morality check. Not to say that one morality is better than anything else, but it's a moment of brutal self-honesty that requires a solid look in order to make your plans solid. You can't plan for the future by ignoring the present or any of the underlying issues that might be stopping you from getting there. So, you know, interesting stuff. Then on top of that, as if that wasn't enough, we've got this massive stellium that's going on in the sign of Pisces. But the big thing that's getting all the hype at this moment in time is Jupiter conjunct Neptune. This is spiritual and it's idealistic and it is higher mind connection, beautiful energy. It is taking what we know, what could potentially be toxic, and truly washing it away. I actually feel that this conjunction of Neptune and Pluto in the sign of Pisces, this is a point at which all of us are being cleansed in some way so that we can be blessed in some way. And you know, I've got a very dear friend who always says, if you're going to cleanse something and you're going to you know, if you cleanse something, you then have to do a blessing straight after. And it's because once you do that cleansing, you create effectively a vacuum where something is clear and it can be imprinted for the light or the dark, depending on, you know, whatever is in the space or around it. So once you've done the cleansing and the clearing, you immediately implement a blessing. And so I kind of feel like this Neptune Jupiter energy is doing that. It's offering that for us in some way. So it's coming into an exact sextile with the North Node here in Taurus. And I've put here, this could be the removal of something poisonous or toxic in our lives. But almost like it's like driving you towards the blessings that you can have through the spirituality or through the divinity in your life. But in order to get there, it's like that acknowledgement of, okay, this needs to be released. Why do I say that? Because then on top of that, you've got the aspect to the South Node, which is a trine. So it's like this Jupiter Neptune conjunction, it can allow you to release something that you've held on to for a really long time, that maybe did fester, that maybe did become toxic. And it's like it's allowing you to do this in a way that doesn't feel like it's being ripped away. It doesn't feel painful or forced or hard. It's just kind of like, you know what, we're going to remove that so that we can welcome in all of this. Neptune dissolves, obviously, and Jupiter amplifies. So we know this is kind of like their general archetypes. But this means barriers, issues, or toxicity in our life that we're now able to, like I said, release or let go of. We really are, in some way, we're just being upgraded on that spiritual level, specifically in that area of your chart. And then what I put here as well is, don't get swept out to sea, but don't hold on either. This is about steering yourself within the grand current that is already carrying us forward. So this is, you know, it's about really figuring out what that looks like for you. For me personally, like the way that I saw this in my mind, it was like when I was little, we used to go to this swimming pool called Coral Reef in a place called Bracknell, and they had this figure of 8 current thing. It was awesome. I loved it. It was amazing. It was like you were flying, but you were in the water. So I used to turn myself around and lay on my back and just literally let the current take me. And that's how I feel like if we approach this Jupiter Neptune with that, like, where is the current taking me? I'm not getting swept away by it. I'm in the understanding that this is taking me to a specific destination. And then finally, Mercury conjunct Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And this is obviously in a sextile energy to Venus, which is also in Pisces, where she is exalted. She does good work there. And then with Mars as well. So Mars isn't really involved in this mix, but Uranus conjunct Mercury in Taurus is definitely sextile to Venus. This could be really nice, and I've put here sudden ends to certain stories. This could be a love for new earth-based discoveries, and I really like this for hidden reserves of things being discovered. New reserves of oils, new reserves of minerals, you know, maybe new ways to use certain things that are, you know, or maybe finding ways to replace things. And remember, this is the other thing as well. Nothing ever happens on its own in astrology. Like, these things aren't just existing in a vacuum. The full moon doesn't just happen on its own. Everything is interacting with everything. And so this moment of this chart, which was for London, by the way, this moment of this chart is going to unfold in a certain set of experiences for each and every one of us in a different way. And then what I put here is, on a more personal note, Venus-Uranus is the breaking apart of the values that we have and the revelation of what really speaks to us at a soul level now. I also feel that this could be on the wider world stage. Maybe we see like a really odd couple being formed. Like, we see them and we're like, that's a bit of a mismatch, but hey ho, if they're happy, let them to it. And then finally, the full moon appears to be bringing a reckoning of sorts between the haves and have-nots. Remember, Libra is about balance, harmony, relationship. It's about bringing that, balancing the equation so that it actually, and in order for things to be balanced, something has to come from one place. You know, if it's like this, some more has to come from this side to this side in order to balance it out. And then it's going to highlight something, set something new into motion, because it's bringing something old to its death. And that's that square to Pluto, right? So this could be quite intense. Whew. So lots going on. For Aries, the full moon is taking place for you. So all of these as well, this is really, really important. This is about, so check from your ascendant first, to a lesser degree, but still relevant, your sun and your moon sign. Aries, this full moon for you is taking place in your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, your closest connections, people that, you know, you really spend a lot of time and effort and energy with. This could be business relationships, personal relationships. This could be highlighting a current personal relationship. And it could be that through this, you're starting to really understand, okay, for some of you as well, I also feel that this might be a revelation about a relationship that nobody has known about up until now. So you could come forward and say, yeah, you know what, I'm in a partnership with this person, and, you know, that's what this means for my future. So because the Pluto is in the sign in Capricorn in your 10th house, this could be a change of status in some way. So you could go from single to partnered. For some of you, possibly from partnered to, you know, to single. Not a guarantee, but the moon is highlighting your relationships and partnerships, and it is asking you to give something over in order to move forward in the relationship. So this could be where you're having to kind of maybe be honest about a partnership or a relationship, or being honest with a partner about what you want from your career might come into the fore as well. So Saturn is squaring up to the nodes in your 2nd house, the North Node in Taurus, that's the 2nd house, and then in the South Node in your 8th house. So this is all about your finances, your money, your resources. This may also be a time where you're starting to understand, I don't think I'm getting or receiving the blessings or the benefits from my career in terms of the money that I'm looking for. What can I do about that? And because the nodes are about their destiny points, right? So this is really asking you to pay attention to where you can do things differently. And more importantly, it's asking you to think about where your career really is taking you now, what that new public social status is actually about, whether it really does see the values that you hold at that core deep level are really being activated. And it's also because of the South Node in Scorpio, this could be a time where you're starting to understand that actually how I am viewed by other people and the effect that that has on me is either beneficial or helping me make more money, or it's not. In short, this could be not just about your finances, but also about your reputation. Jupiter conjunct Neptune is taking place in your 12th house. Now, if you've been with me long enough, you know I always talk about Jupiter in the 12th is true guardian angel energy. You've got this with the North Node. This could be making you very psychic right now. Like your psychic awareness and antenna, your dreams could be super powerful at the moment. And with Venus, they could even take on like a very sensual kind of nature to them as well. What I put here as well is that it might feel like some sort of financial blessing because of that Jupiter conjunction, because it's sextile to the North Node. So this could be spontaneous big money that comes out of nowhere. But because of the other things that are happening here, I am loath to say to you, this might also be a time there where maybe big money comes in, but you realize, wow, you know, I can keep this and live the high life, or I can pay off all my debts. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like as quick as it comes in, there's something that comes in to say, maybe be sensible with this. Trine to the North Node, it could offer some truly profound, not trine to the North Node, sorry. Yeah, spontaneous financial blessings is what I feel that could be. Mercury conjunct Uranus in your second house is exciting because it could bring some sort of money or finances that you almost like you don't know, and it could see like a radical change of fortune, because remember, Uranus is shocking. It does things quickly and differently, and it like really breaks apart what you've known up until this moment. So this could really be very exciting, but it could just as easily be quite sort of shocking at the same time. And then because it's connecting to Venus in your 12th house, you've already got such a concentration of energies there. The message that I put right at the end of this was, it could literally be the breaking of the bonds of your financial karma up until this moment. So, you know, quite big stuff. For you, Taurus. Taurus. This full moon in Libra is happening in a fellow sibling sign, because you and Libra are both ruled by Taurus. But you and Libra are both ruled by Venus. And this is nice, right? Because you and Libra are both ruled by Venus, and Venus is in the sign of her exaltation, which means she's doing good work there. She's in a good place, you know, not far from Jupiter, not far from Neptune. So already in energies that she's, you know, that are much more beneficial than what she's been in previously, where she's just come out of that sort of sandwich with Mars and Saturn. So good stuff, you know. So this 6th house is really a full moon in your in the place of your body, your health, your everyday routines. The 6th house is a maintenance house, and it's how you maintain your physical body, but also your personal status quo. And you're used to maintaining the status quo because you are a Taurus. So there's an energy of understanding how to look after what you have in order to get the best or the most out of it. I will say, for some of you, because of that connection to Pluto, it could be a little bit of a flare-up for some of you. So if you've had health challenges or issues, this might be a time where you're having to really look after yourself, and it will probably highlight to you where you have or haven't looked after yourself well enough. Saturn in your career sector is giving you a reality check when it comes to the expectations that you've got of yourself and others. How much can you actually get done in a day versus how much you're actually getting done in a day, because of your, you know, this idea of, well, you know, I can do it all. And it's like, yeah, okay, but can you? And, you know, if you are doing it, are you really doing it at the best level that you can? Relationship matters are coming into focus a lot as well for you because of this full moon. So then you've got this Jupiter-Neptune conjunction in your 11th house, which is a whole heap of blessings from benefactors, social media, social interactions, groups, anywhere where you're connecting to larger groups of people, anywhere that you're really starting to get acquainted or connected with people possibly that are, you know, in, you know, far-flung places maybe for some of you as well. Remember as well, your 12th house is your larger goals and aspirations as well. And so this 11th house for you is what you get out of your career. It's the blessings and the rewards and even the gains that you get from the career. So this could be a real powerful time for those kinds of blessings. Might also be where social media does wonders for your work, for your profile, or even for your business if you have one. Saturn is trining this full moon, I forgot to mention as well, which is really nice for you, because whatever's being revealed about your work life and your career, it might be like intense at first, so it demands like your immediate attention, but then after that it starts to really bring its results and its blessings. Venus, your ruler, is now in a much stronger position, and Venus is sextile to Uranus conjunct Mercury in your first house. I really feel like this is either some connection that you're making with a new friend, with a new colleague, maybe with a new group association, that is really helping you understand how you shine, where you shine, and more importantly, what you can do to utilize that sort of unique sense of self to make you more money, to make you more finances, or it's kind of like discovering what makes you you and how that makes you lucrative, if that makes sense. This is a blessing from your tribe. Blessing is from your tribe, uncovering a new group or sense of group mentality, help and support from benefactors, and it also could bring, for some of you as well, this could bring solid ends to friendships or certain connections, and some new technology or money-making idea could really be a blessing for your future. So this could be quite nice for you too, Taurus. All right, so Gemini. For you, this is happening in your 9th house. Your 9th house is happening in your 5th house, sorry, which is all to do with creativity, love, romance. It's a really lucky house as well. So if you've got anything that has like almost like a bit of a speculative nature, maybe stocks and shares, maybe crypto, anything that, lotto tickets, all of that kind of stuff, this is putting a highlight on that for you. And because it's trine to Saturn, this full moon, right, this is activating all of the air houses for you. So this is like a grand air trine in a sense. So your sun, moon, or ascendant, or whatever you've got in Gemini, is really being very nicely supported by that Saturn to give it some weight and to really crystallize and make that sort of prominent. And then the full moon is putting a spotlight on it to say, yes, you want more of this. Here's the luck, here's the fun, here's the excitement and the enjoyment. I like this for you because that Saturn in the 9th house, this could be you getting serious about where to put your focus in terms of that enjoyment. So if the 5th house is your enjoyment and creativity, that 9th house is really getting in this connection to say, well, maybe, just maybe, through spirituality or through some sort of hard work that is absolutely fun, that really helps you build or plan for your future, because the 9th house is a future orientated house. For those of you that have wanted or needed to travel but haven't been able to, that's Saturn working in the 9th house. But it's also a sense of, because this is 5th house, 9th house stuff, this is maybe for some of you understanding what you need from a partner at that deep spiritual level. So if you're single, this could be a time where you're really looking at this and saying, wow, you know what, the reason it hasn't worked up until now is because I don't have somebody, or I haven't been with somebody that gets me at that soul level. Now your 9th house is also legal matters and all of those good stuffs as well. And because you've got Saturn trining squaring the nodes, setting up that T-square that I was talking about earlier, this could be giving you a solid understanding in how to get ahead, but something's going to need to shift with your personal ideals or your sort of inbuilt belief structure, let's say. This is as well like what's happening in your 12th and 6th house axis. This is what I call a maintenance axis, right? So the stuff that's happening in Taurus is your 12th house. That's your spirituality, it's your past, it's your subconscious, it's your self-sabotaging tendencies. Where we fuck ourselves up, basically, is what you find in the 12th house. So you're having to maintain your spiritual life here. And then in the South Node with Scorpio, that's in your 6th house. That's your physical health, your body, your vitality. This is how you maintain your physical self. So that T-square with the nodes could really be, you know, highlighting to you where you need to... where you need to get real about, you know, maintaining yourself, I guess, is the easiest way to put it. So Jupiter conjunct Neptune, this could be really, really nice for you because this is effectively your career sector, right? So in a lot of ways, that Jupiter-Neptune conjunction is really getting you to see what things could be. This is a great time for you to fantasize and hypothesize about what your life could be, where it could take you. Think big, dream big, allow your mind and your mental reverie. Like if you're like me, sometimes I will just, you know, I will literally go off into a daydream about, you know, and that's where I get some of my good ideas or sometimes the details for things. Give yourself over to that imaginative faculty when it comes to your career this around this full moon, because it really might highlight to you something that comes almost like divinely guided. What I've also put here as well is because of the other links that are coming in with this, and it's sextile to that North Node in the 12th. For some of you, this could be an old idea that comes back to the fore, that really helps you understand how you bring that vision to ground. So you could have this amazing idea for your career and it's like, okay, well, that's great, but, and then it's like almost like immediately, like you start downloading the steps that you can take to make it real. Uranus conjunct Mercury here in the 12th is going to be happening and it's sextile to Venus, which could actually be really, really nice for you. I wouldn't be surprised if this is blast from the past energy though. I wouldn't be surprised, like for some people this could be the mending of a rift. For some people this could be a reconnection of sorts. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out for you guys. Okay, for Cancer, this full moon for you is happening in the 4th house of your home, family, property, the people that you live with in your literal space. But the 4th house is also a very deep sort of house, and because you've got the full moon there, this is putting a spotlight on your family, the people that you live with. This could bring some intensity into the home. It could make things a little bit more challenging than you would like or that you want to experience. Definitely possible. Excuse me. It might also, for some of you as well, because it is square to Pluto, this might be a partnership and or a relationship that comes into question, or you start to realize, wow, if this doesn't change or shift, I'm not sure what the longevity of it is going to be. The other thing here as well, so I've put this is happening in your home and family sector. This could be a moment of real intensity, especially if your sun or your ascendant are close to the very end of Cancerian energy, because it's going to be really then hitting that Pluto quite strong. So the full moon is also highlighting your living space, and it could be for some of you, this might be about where you are ready to move to. It could bring challenges between the home life and the career, very possible, where you're being pulled in 2 different directions in order to manage it. You're going to have to go against the grain and consider what you want first. And this is a theme that's been coming up for Cancer for quite a while, not only through the astrology, but also through the tarot readings that I've been doing for you guys. It's like you're having to get into this place or space internally where you consider what you want first and then decide what needs you can meet for other people. So Saturn in your 8th house over here in Aquarius is in a way limiting your ability to process some of the deeper mysteries of life, which I actually think is a good thing, because it's limiting some of the deeper psychological challenges or effects that come from the 8th house. So this could also be highlighting the possible completion of an older person's journey. So, you know, I hope I'm wrong about this, but it may bring about the end of somebody that is in the winter of their lives. I hope I'm wrong about that. So square to the South Node here in your sorry, the square to the south node here, Saturn in your south node in Scorpio, it might feel like your children or projects of yours are never ending, or they require more time, more effort, more energy, more of everything, and the rewards that they're giving are just not there. This might be a time where you decide, I'm laughing because I know someone's going to be like, what? Like, you might decide to put that down, right? So if it is a project or a creative idea, you might look at this and say, you know what, it's just not worth what I'm having to put into it, so I'll release that now. You can't do that with your children, but you can lay some ground rules, right? What I've put here as well, squaring the north node in your 11th, friendships might be tested at the minute, connections that you once valued might be on the rocks. They might even just implode. And the thing is, even though this is to the north node, which, you know, tends to bring things in, I really feel like this could be the thing that really brings something to a close or an end. Jupiter and Neptune here in the 9th house. I mean, this is actually beautiful. I will say this to you, Cancer. If you decide to use this conjunction of Jupiter and Neptune comes exact on the 12th, but it will still be there by the time we get into the 16th when the full moon hits. This could be a really powerful time, and if you've been with me long enough, you know I believe that Cancer is the most psychic of all the signs, because it's the one that can truly use that intuitive energy to actually divine things properly and put them into their right order. For Scorpio, it's too deep, it's too intense. For Pisces, it's too nebulous. Cancer has the best of both worlds, really. If you can reach out to the universe with your psychic abilities, right? This is a really powerful time where magic, spirituality, and prayer could be so powerful right now. If you find a way to connect to the divine, because this is happening in your 9th house, this is where we connect to God, the universe, Chi, Allah, Buddha, whatever you want to call it that you perceive to be out there. This might just tap you into some higher power and sustain you in ways that you cannot even fathom right now. If you've got Cancer energy prominent in your chart, I would tap into that, because you could connect to the mind of God or the heart of God over this course of this full moon, and you could get answers that maybe, you know, you might never be able to access again. And this connection in the sign of Pisces, none of us are going to be alive next time it happens, unless of course they discover how to make that happen, which could be interesting. So what I've put here as well, as they sextile the north node, help could come from the most unlikely places. So this is the thing, if you ask for something that's so improbable, that's so huge, and you're just like, well, you know, I've done my connection, I've built it as strong as I possibly can, I asked for what I want, I have no idea how that's going to happen, it could just show up. Trying to the south node, you could be looking for, if you're looking for love, there's a potential here to connect to someone that feels like the light that pierces the fog, you know, like somebody that comes in that just kind of makes you go, wow, like, who is this person? Because the feeling that they give you is so special. Don't get overzealous. Jupiter conjunct Neptune can really run away with the fairies, so try to keep it grounded, okay? Mercury conjunct Uranus sextile to Venus. That's really nice. Could be an announcement of support in your favor, and it might be a healing touch or a balm that comes from someone who turns out to be an ally or a benefic influence in your life. This could be really, really lovely. So it will be interesting to see how it shows up for you guys too. Leo, currently having that Saturn opposition. How is that working out for you? I'm laughing because I'm a Leo ascendant, so I know how it's working out for you all. All right, so this full moon for us is taking place in the 3rd house. This is all to do with communication, writing, speaking, but it's also your public persona, not your public persona, but your public interaction. So this is your social media accounts, like where you interact with people, the websites that you're using daily, the content that you're putting out. All of that stuff could be really, really highlighted at the moment. If you've got courses or posts and stuff, this could be a really nice time to do so because it's putting a massive spotlight on it. It could also be highlighting sibling relationships, your local or your local area in some way, and or your neighbors. This could also be looking at your commute. So what I've put here is it might be a time where some old hidden skill of yours, because the third house is skills, especially things that you do, you know, things that you've built up a certain amount of knowledge and skill set with. These could be coming back into the fold or being relevant or useful in a way that you hadn't imagined. So this is time really to look at the skills that you've got and see if and where they are transferable. Then you've got the square to of the moon to Pluto, right? That it's a little more challenging because what I've put here is watch out for attacks on your business and potential hidden enemies. What I will say is remember the phrase, no weapon shall prosper. The chances are this is a time where certain people that have tried to harm you in certain ways when it comes to your business or your work, etc., they could be outed right now. And because of the energies that there are here, it might be very shocking to you who that person is. Pluto square the sun in your 9th house. This could create an issue or of a legal nature. It's possible. It also might see as well, like if you've been applying for visas or, you know, you're looking to move abroad or work abroad for any period of time, this might highlight where the problems are or where the issues are or things that you weren't aware of up until this moment. So while it might be a ball ache, it could actually be very beneficial. I've put here is because it might be about something that's been missed as well. The sun, however, is stronger than Pluto because the sun is in Aries at the moment, which is the sign of its exaltation. It's your ruling luminary. So if anything, the sun at the moment, even though it's not in a great angle, the sun is stronger than Pluto in this energy. So I've put here, the truth will out and you will prevail. This is not a full moon to be slept on. So Saturn in your 7th house. This has been fun, right? Squaring to the North Node in the 10th. This is driving you into a new corner to explore who you are and who you might be. So what I feel like is happening here, it's like Saturn is kind of saying, no, I'm not going to give you any distractions, especially partners or relationships or whatever. I'm pulling all of that away from you. I'm holding all of that away from you so that you can rediscover, redefine, or represent who you actually are. This is, in effect, this actually part of the square I feel is really allowing you to become a more authentic version of yourself, especially in the way that you present yourself to the world. It's forcing you to level up on a work level. And now that you're getting your energy reserves back, it's really time to roll up your sleeves and get to work effectively. Squaring the South Node in the 4th, so you've got the ruler of the 4th in the 8th. Watch out for the health of loved ones. This might become a challenge. It may also be that your health might require more of your attention. And one thing that I put here as well, and I sober up a little bit as I say this, if you are, this is not a suffer in silence energy. If you are not safe, if there is something happening for you and you are in danger or you're being harmed, this is the time to speak up. This is the time to sing like a canary. Why do I say that? The full moon in your 3rd house is really putting a spotlight on what you say. So it could be if something is happening behind closed doors and you think, you know what, no one's ever going to hear me or whatever, this is your cue to say this time they will hear you. And even if you don't divulge this, somebody else may notice it and blow a whistle for you. So, you know, make of that what you will. I try to touch on that as gently as possible. Jupiter and Neptune conjunct in your 8th house. This is a very deep place. It's very beautiful. So you've also got Venus in the 8th as well. Venus in the 8th brings beautiful energies for healing. It really does. The mending of wounds, especially deep psychological ones, things that you've held on to in your body. Any form of trauma could be washed. Remember what I said about Jupiter and Neptune being washed away? There's something about this that's washing away trauma, that's healing old wounds, that's allowing you to really, at that deep spiritual psyche, soul kind of level, to really be cleansed and released of something, to say, wow, you know what? I can't believe I was holding on to that for so long. It's setting up a much larger something much larger for later when Venus joins Jupiter and Neptune, well, Jupiter at least at that 27th degree. That's going to be gorgeous, and this is a wonderful a set for a wonderful career-based blessing in that motion that literally no one can mess with. So whatever is happening with the sextile of Venus to the North Node, whatever this blessing is that's coming in and that's going to happen later when Venus hits that 27th degree with Jupiter, it's like a blessing that's so big and so profound that literally nobody can mess with it. Why? Because it's divinely ordained. There's nothing or no one that can get in the way of it, which I really like. It might be a very surprising energy as well, though, because we've obviously got Mercury and Uranus there. So it might come about in a way where you're like, okay, what just happened? You know, like... yeah, I was just going to go off on a tangent then. Venus sextile to Mercury and Uranus between the 8th and the 10th. This is a chance to reap past rewards, but also to increase your earning potential or enhance your earning potential. Whatever you're working on, the results are going to be big. Keep at it. Virgo. So it's... even though the full moon is square to Pluto, that Plutonian energy is offering a trine to you. And obviously we've still got the energies that are taking place in the Taurus. So there's quite a bit of harmony going on for you. But this full moon for you is taking place in your financial house, the second house. This is your money, the money that you earn, the money that you save, that you've got stashed away. It is also your values, your self-esteem, and how you truly feel about yourself. And what I like about this for you is it means that there's a sense of you really coming into, this is what I want, this is what's good for me. This is you really being very focused on the self through that. And maybe your self-worth or your self-esteem is being upgraded or highlighted in some way. So maybe as well, for some of you, this could be through a conversation that you have with someone and you think, like, maybe they say something to you and you're like, wow, okay, that's a bit self-deprecating. I need to end that or take that back in some way. Might see you placing greater value on and emphasis on who you are, what you can change or ask for when it comes to your money. The sun in Aries is pulling your soul towards a deeper understanding of and a renewal of yourself at that deep sort of level. Especially because this is all happening with that square to Pluto. So at a deeper level, you might be uncovering, actually, you know what? I care and I love myself enough to say this is something that needs to change or needs to evolve. You might decide to do away with something that you had thought was a good idea, only to realize that you were underselling yourself. So this could be a time where you're like, actually, you know what? Let me take that product or service offline, you know, rejig it a little bit so that I'm 100% happy with it. And remember, actually, I need to raise the price on this. The biggest spotlight for you is obviously on your 7th house. Look at that. You've got Jupiter conjunct Neptune. You've got Venus there, Mars there. That's a 7th house stellium. Partnership, relationship, marriage potential. If there were ever a time where you had the potential to meet someone, this full moon is definitely going to be highlighting it. Pay attention to who is around you. Who's giving you those little looks or glances or overtures? Who is really... you know, for some of you, maybe this is even a secret admirer, very possible. I will say though, because you've got the Saturn in the 6th house square in the North Node in your 3rd, this is a time to be really honest and clear about where it is that you're ready to make cuts and let go of things. It might also be as well, just remember, because you've got this 7th house stuff going on, I would say if you need to let someone down, let them down gently, all right? Because it could go a long way to, you know, everyone remembers being let down, slighted, and if you do it in a way that comes across as really harsh or mean, it might be something that's remembered for a very long time. Could also be a time where you're needing to consider whether more information is actually going to help or hinder. And then square to the, sorry, that was the South Node. Square to the North Node here in Taurus, you've got... you might be asked to give your opinion or your expertise in some way, but what you share might be an unpopular opinion. So watch out for this, because this is always the case, right? Sometimes somebody asks a question, we give our answer, just blasé, we don't really think about it, and then all of a sudden all hell breaks loose. Just remember that you remain, and obviously with Saturn where he is, I've said here, it's important that you remain free thinking, but also in a way that is kind of actually beneficial for everybody, rather than just, you know, yeah. Anyway, Mercury conjunct Uranus over here in Pisces, in Taurus, in your 9th house. This is offering the potential viral making energy, right? So if there's something that you want to release out into the world that you want to share, this could be where a post or some content that you put out really hits it big time, like you really strike gold. I would be as well, like, just because this could launch you into the stratosphere in some way. So you just make sure it's for the right kind of thing, right? And if you've got an unpopular opinion and you feel like that's the thing that you want to voice, no problem. Just remember, once it's out there, you can't take it back. And also, you know, you don't want to see how that might be amplified, right? So then we've got that in sextile to Venus in your 7th house. This could be the mending or blending or forming of a partnership that has really wonderful implications for teaching and learning of all kinds. I really like this for you, especially ones involving new technology or revolutionary ideas. Could be making some friendship connections that last. So for Libra, this full moon is happening for you in your 1st house. It's highlighting you, it's spotlighting you. This is where all eyes are on you. All of the astrological energy is literally focused on you, because the luminary of the moon is in your sign, right? And the full moon is about illuminating something or someone. So what I say with this, anything that happens in the 1st house, we tend to have maybe not total, but at least a modicum of control. So what do you want to highlight to the world about yourself, your body, your image, your thoughts, your mind? Like, this might be a time as well where you become acutely aware of how people actually see you, how you really show up in the world, right? This could be a sobering look in that sense as well. Might be a time where your home life and your desires and yourself might come into a bit of a clash. Could also be a time where some secret personal desires beg to be shared, and you might have a hard time keeping a poker face. So this could definitely be one of those times where you know, you say one thing, you mean another, and it's like your face betrays you. If you're anything like me, that happens daily. So the full moon is trine to Saturn in your 5th house. So this could literally bring like a solid offer of romance. This could be, you know, what you think is just a date, you know, you go on it and you think, wow, actually, yeah, this person could really, you know, like, there's good talk, there's good banter, there's all of that, but there's a steady understanding there of, you know what, I actually think we want the same things in that long run. And maybe, just maybe, they really understand you, right? And they see all that you are being highlighted to be, and they're like, yeah, I'm about that. Could be a great time if you've got any projects that you want to launch. This is a solid time to do so. especially because you are being highlighted. The 5th house with your project, it's being hardened and crystallized. What I also put here as well, it could be that you turn a corner and that the hard work that you've been putting in might now really pay off. This offers true scaffolding to any endeavor of a personal nature that means a lot to you. So I really like that, because it could be like more solidity than you've had in a long time. Full moon is also part of a T-square with Pluto in your 7th house. So what I've put here as well, you could consider a friend who is actually a foe. It could be a time of revelations of both. Pluto squaring to the from the 1st to the 4th, sorry. It might be a time where your personal needs are revealed to be at odds with the family or the living situation, and what that is sort of really pulling from you. Jupiter conjunct Neptune here in Pisces. This is bringing magic to your work and your daily routine. It could be a time where as well, like, this could be like, there's something about this that really feels like romancing the ordinary. So it's like everything is just easy, everything's flowing and harmonious in the day-to-day and in the, in the work and stuff. And it could be like you just feel like you're in your rhythm, you're in your zone, like things are happening in ways that feel aligned or right for you. Could be new developments that come in because the sextile to the North Node is happening there. It could also boost your income where other people's money is concerned. So this could be nice for that. And then what I've put here is this could also be a deep psychological shift that enables you to cleanse yourself of those old hurts and wounds, but just as easily, right, because you've got this stuff happening in the 6th and the 8th house, sorry, I had to really think about that one for a moment. It could be a time of divine spiritual healing on a profound level, and it might also see the full moon pulling you all over the place, but it's like there will be but the blessings that it unlocks for you are truly magical. So while it might be like, like I feel like I'm being pulled apart in so many ways, and all at the same time, all eyes are on me, don't take that to be a bad thing. All right. And then for Scorpio, this is a 12th house moon. So if you've been with me long enough, I actually like a 12th house full moon. It's like going into your personal closet and kind of saying, right, this is where all the crap is, this is where all the gunk is, we're pulling everything out, we're washing out this space, and then we're going to put everything back in nice neat piles with everywhere that it can go, and it's categorized. This, however, is a blessing, but it is going to make you a lot more sensitive. You are going to be acutely aware of how you feel about everything. Your emotions are very much going to be heightened, and it could also be, because you're already intuitive and perceptive, this could be a time where like every little thing that you see, this could be a little bit OCD making, all right? So just watch out for that, because everything could be up, like dialed up to an 11. So that's Saturn in the 4th house. Your home could truly, because the full moon is trining to Saturn, your home at the time of this full moon is truly going to be your sanctuary. This is going to be that time, that space, that energy where you can just kind of go, you know what, I'm going to shut it all out for a moment. It could bring some very deep revelations from the past about the family. This could be a big family secret of some sort that comes up. What I've put here though is, it could be something about land, property, or money that was hidden from common knowledge. So this might be like a secret inheritance that you didn't know, was there, or maybe, your family has a home in a different country that you weren't even aware of. And now suddenly you're eligible to be the person that holds the keys. Like, there's something about this that really, for me, I kind of felt like when I was looking at it, it's like, it's almost, when it comes up, you're going to be like, wow, like I didn't even know that we had this. So when I say a secret, it doesn't always have to be like dark, horrible, awful. It can sometimes literally just be something that's been hidden. So this full moon is square to your modern ruler, and in Capricorn. This is going to be a sobering look at your environment, and it's really asking you what is not for you anymore. Doesn't have to mean a move, but it could be big considerations about how you interact with your local environment. It also rules siblings, so this could be issues or challenges with a family member and or siblings, and it might ask you to sort of play that mediating role. It's also, because it's square to the sun, it also means that your work life and your health could be having some influence on you through your work. So this might be a moment at which as well you uncover an underlying health issue. It is possible. So then we've got Saturn here in the 4th, setting up that square with the nodes, one of which, the South Node, is in your sign. So this is going to be a shift where some family challenge or issue is shaping your thoughts and actions, and you might see that and be like, right, that feels like an emotional manipulation. Maybe not necessarily that is the intention, but you might receive it that way. It could also be because you've got this with the 7th house stuff going on as well, that a relationship matter or a severity of a relationship responsibility that your partner has. This could be a time where you see something with your partner and you're like, right, I want to support them, but they need to make the decision first. It might be a really good time to have a heart-to-heart with a partner, actually. Especially because that 12th house moon, yes, you're going to be more sensitive and more heightened, but it will allow you to really get to the root of what you're feeling. And that deep honesty can really help your relationship move forward. Jupiter conjunct Neptune here in the 5th. Could be really, really nice for romantic connections. This is like deep sensuality and sexuality, and it's all to the fore. And because they're sextile to the North Node in Taurus, this is like a really deep sense of, yes, this is what I want from a partner, this is what I need from a partner, and this is how I'm going to get it. There's a real strong sense of connection that can come in that way, and sex, sensuality and connections in those ways could really lead to some sort of transcending element in your life. So, you know, tantra and, you know, sacred sexuality could really help you bond with a partner at a much higher or deeper level. And then trying to the South Node, this could be a burden on those deeper levels that's being soothed or eased or washed away in some way. Venus sextile Uranus conjunct Mercury between the 5th and the 7th. Relationships, love, romance are all to the fore. The full moon might highlight where these things have been missing and where the love life has suffered in relation to past challenges or issues. And then finally, what I've got here is this was a really lovely aspect that could allow new projects to get the air and the attention that they need, especially if you're working with collaborators and or partnerships. So really, really nice for you guys. Very much on the love kind of front. Saggies, this is a full moon for you in the 11th house. This is your networks, your friends, your social presence, interactions, and all of this is coming into the forefront. So this is going to see how you really connect to the wider world. This really becomes evident. And like I said, the 11th house this is where we get the blessings, the benefits, or the rewards and the tangibles from our career. So this could be a time where you start to realize, actually, you know what? I've got some really great stuff to come. And this is where those blessings start to make themselves known. So trying to Saturn here, this could anchor or reveal local connections and support systems that have been yet untapped. So, you know, this could be, you know, it could be as really mundane as you discover a place in your locality and you think, oh my gosh, there's this gorgeous little stream, there's a perfect tree that offers just enough shade for me to read my book, and it's like, I didn't even know this place existed, and I've lived here for 5, 10, whatever years, and actually this is perfect. It could be something really small and mundane like that, but it could just as easily be a big group of some sort, or a resource in your local area that actually makes all the difference. It might highlight where you have more support than you think, and it might reveal some powerful allies that could be of real use to you. So square to Pluto, strong sense of your values, and could be highlighting a big shift for you. What I've put here as well, money matters and friends around this full moon do not mix. Keep them separate as much as you possibly can. Projects might be as well, especially because of this other part of this. Your project or a project or some creative endeavor could end up taking more resources than you have or that you're prepared to give at this time. You're going to have to really keep an eye on that. So Saturn square in the nodes. This is, again, right, so because you've got the south node in the 12th, the north node in the 6th, and talked about this for, I think it was Cancer or Gemini, but this is the maintenance aspect. So 6th house, that's the bodily maintenance. 12th house, that's the spiritual maintenance. So you're having to really look after these two aspects of yourself. Your spiritual health and your bodily health are being anchored by Saturn. It's time to get serious about these things. If you don't have a daily health regime, if you haven't got like a spiritual practice of some sort, this is the time to start really thinking about ways that you can support yourself, your body, your mind, your psyche in those kinds of ways. Sorry, there's that damn fly. It's going to be going, so yeah, this, and what I've put here as well is, this could be when it comes to your spiritual health and your past and even your subconscious space, your closet is being emptied, because that's the south node in the 12th. It's going to be a clear definition of what cleansing truly means to you. Jupiter conjunct Neptune here in the 4th house. I mean, that's lovely. Blessings coming to the home. The home is being extended, expanded. This could be a time where, you know, maybe you're building a new floor, maybe you're putting in an extension. On the more sort of biological energies, this could literally be that you are, you know, this is pregnancy energy, this is baby making. The family itself is the thing being enlarged or amplified. Now, because this is the 4th house, it is Jupiter, it is Neptune, that's a lot of water just there. And then, you know, Pisces is literally like the expanse of the ocean. Anything where you see like a leak or, you know, a patch of damp or whatever, get it sorted as soon as possible, because this could end up costing you a lot in the long term. And did you know that leaks in the home translate to leaks in your pocket? So according to, I think it's feng shui, but there's another system as well that talks about this. So whenever you've got a leak in the home, get it fixed straight away, because that leak is going to drain your money. Also, something that I put here that I found really interesting was because of the sextile to the, no, not that. This is a fated new beginning through the home and family, but it's more maybe becoming an aunt or an uncle. So it doesn't have to be your baby, but the family is being enlarged or extended. It could be for some of you as well, a health issue that you realize is actually hereditary. So maybe you've had a health issue or a challenge in some way, and it's like, you know what, we can't get to the bottom of it. And then you realize, actually, my grandmother had this, or my great grandmother. Like, it could be something that you realize has been passed down. Your work could take on a much deeper significance right now, and even a spiritual one at that. Mercury conjunct Uranus here in Taurus. New technologies coming into your work life, especially where you're working from home. You could be creating a space at home that is truly magical, that takes your work to a new level. If you want to start a YouTube channel or launch anything around that, especially that's on home, from home, or with homes, could be a great time to launch a personal business in that regard as well. Capricorn. All right, so this is happening in the house that is naturally ruled by you, the 10th house, the house of career. This is all about your public persona. You are being put into the spotlight. This is people seeing you, the way that you present yourself, your social status. For some of you, this could be highlighting, again, a change in status. Maybe you become single, maybe you become partnered, maybe your relationship or you through your relationship is being highlighted in some way. This is all about your career and work life, but it could also be where you're taking the bull by the horns with your finances, your money and your resources. So Saturn, your ruling planet, is in your second house, which is crystallizing your finances. It's bringing a solidity to them. And that full moon highlighting your career, trine to Saturn in your second house, this could be where you start to see your earning potential starts to increase, or maybe you're getting a pay rise or a promotion in the work that you're doing already. So this could be really, really nice. So Pluto in your sign, been there for quite a while now, so it's an energy that you are really used to, but it is squaring this this full moon. And for that reason, you might feel this quite viscerally. It might be like, you know what, I've been dealing with a lot of things that feel quite unfair. Pluto in your sign has been there for some time. So in your first house, changing you on a deep level, upgrading your mind, body and spirit. So square to the South Node here in your 11th house, it's calling into question your larger social connections, and it might see you really commit to your larger goals and aspirations. And so that full moon might really show you, yes, you want this big goal, this big dream, this etc., but this is what you're going to have to release in order to get it, and this is the steps that you're going to have to take to make that happen. Neptune conjunct Jupiter here in your third house. Siblings connections can be healed at this time if you've got any. So yeah, I've put here, this could be through really intense discussions, or but could also bring deep forgiveness. So if you've ever had any, if you've had any challenges or issues with a sibling, this may be a time where you can mend or heal that, but in order to do so, you're having to really talk it out at a deep level. Could be that you start to understand some of the deeper spiritual connections to the place that you live in, or your local environment and its energies. And that's a really powerful thing, because your third house, like I said, it's your local environment. You could start to see, maybe you've got an energetic tie to this place. Maybe you've moved out and you've had to come back several times, and it's like, what is keeping me in this place? Why do I keep returning here? You could discover what that sort of energetic root is, and it could be cleansed away. It could be washed away by that Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. So sextile to the North Node, I like this because it's in trine energy to your sign. So you've got the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction, trine in the North Node, and then the North Node, sextile to the North Node, and then the North Node trine to your own sign. I feel like this offers fun, enjoyment, a connection that maybe hasn't been felt for a while. So maybe like you're stepping into life a bit more, you know, like there could be this sense of, yeah, all right, you know what, Pluto's ruined my life for the last, you know, however many years, but actually I feel lighter for it, right? Like it's that moment at which you realize, you know, like when you've had an issue or like you've had a problem breathing, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, I can breathe again. I feel good. This is nice. Mercury conjunct Uranus here in Taurus is really amplifying where technology can help you with some of your personal projects. So this is a good time to get clued up on all things technology. Could be also a time to invest in some sort of technology and or software. And because it's sextile to Venus in the third house, this is a really perfect time to invest in new skills. Anything that's going to enhance or give you an edge, that's going to upgrade your skill set and your knowledge. So this makes you more employable. It's actually, you know, it's broadening your horizons for that reason. So, Aquarius. You have this happening in your 9th house. Gosh, I've got so much here, and I think I'm going to have to read the whole thing because when I wrote this one, I felt like I was really in the zone. So, and you know, maybe it's because I'm an Aquarius, I don't know. But this is a full moon for you in the 9th house. So this full moon for you is spiritual in nature because it's happening in the 9th house. So yes, travel, higher philosophy, all the rest of it. But the 9th house is truly where you connect to the universal mind, where you truly connect to the heart and soul of God. And as such, this is not a full moon to be slept on, right? Yes, the house of travel and all the rest of it, but it might be a powerful time for prayer through, and it could be revelation through spiritual connection that comes up for you. It's a blessed time for your luck because the 9th house is a very lucky house by its very nature. And it could be a time where as well you gain mystical or spiritual knowledge that might enhance your material experience. I can't even tell you how many times I've had dreams or visions or experiences and thought, wow, you know what, this is exactly what I need for my business. It's not necessarily about that, but when it came through, it was exactly what I needed for something else. This is a time where, like, literally connect to the universal mind. This is a time, if ever you, even if you're not the sort of person to pray, this would be the time to do so. This full moon is trine to Saturn in your sign, offering a grounding, stabilizing element to this energy. So it's not just like this, oh, you know, I'm praying and I'm tapping into the universal mind. It's like it gives you something where you can pull this to ground, where you can actually use it. You can get messages from spirit at the moment. It might be a time that reveals to you that immigration is on the cards for you. This is, after all, the house of international travel, connections. What is the longevity of the place or the country that you're living in right now? How long do you see yourself staying there? Square to Pluto, this could be an old legal situation that comes up with a bit of a kick. Could also be the resurfacing of an old psychological wound of some sort that really does require a lot of deep consideration. However, true healing can be offered here, but it will require a frank and honest look at what fed into making the situation that you find yourself in. Pluto square to the sun here in your 3rd house. A challenge with a sibling and or even your neighbours might be heightened due to the full moon, but it could just be a background feeling where you kind of just don't feel settled in the space that you're in. Saturn squaring the nodes. Home and family and career sectors are being highlighted. This is driving with the brakes on when it comes to those things, right? So these could want very different things from you. Like the home life could want something very different from you than you are able to give, or, you know, maybe even might see you make new considerations. And then with the career, it's almost like the feeling of, you know what, I know there are things that need to be released here, and these might be feeding into everything else that's going on. Jupiter and Neptune conjunct in the 2nd house. This is great for your money, ramping up the earning potential, but bringing a deeper line, bringing you deeper in line with your personal values. I like this because I'm calling Jupiter and Neptune for some of the signs pennies from heaven. Alright, so I'm here for it. I think that could be cool. What this also says as well is because of the sextile to the North Node in your 4th house, this could be something to do with a home-based business, but also the future destiny of your living situation and your family that brings blessings. This could be anything from an unexpected inheritance right through to something about your business, especially if it's home-based or with homes or property or real estate, etc. It just expands or explodes in a way that you weren't expecting. This could be a blessing that comes in that really sets you on a new trajectory or a new path to what your plans currently are. And then finally, Mercury conjunct Uranus here in the 4th house could be very lucky for home, could be an investment in the upgrading of home technology or internet, especially if you've got a business based around those things from the home. Because it's in a sextile to Venus as well, your money is really getting a boost from here on in. Venus brings sweetness and harmony and blessings, and it could grease the wheels for making a whole lot more money. So, you know, I would really, like I said, even if you're not the type to pray, do what you can this month, or certainly on the full moon, about, you know, even if it's just a 30-second, to connect to that higher universal mind, to say, look, maybe we don't talk so often, but actually I'm open to hearing whatever you might send me, want to get across to me, and show. And for those of you that aren't used to receiving signs, or maybe don't look for them, I mean, you're watching an astrology video, so, you know, you're probably already a little bit dialed in. This is a time for you to look out for the synchronicities, look out for those things that feel like luck or coincidence. I don't buy into that, but you know what I mean. And then finally, Pisces. Gosh. So you're having an 8th house full moon. But before we even get into that, Jupiter and Neptune are your ruling planets, right? So Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces. Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces. They're both in your sign. This is really expanding and amplifying all of your own energies, but it's spiritualizing and harmonizing all of who you are. So wherever your sun, moon, or ascendant in... well, if it's your ascendant, it'll be your first house, but you get my point. And this is a time where not only are you being upgraded spiritually, but materially as well. So the spiritual, that's the Neptune. This is upgrading your thoughts, your energy, your spirituality, and your psychic energies. Jupiter is upgrading your physical, tangible resources and self. And so for that reason, in a lot of ways, you are being amplified and changed, but on a dual sort of level. So both fishies, because Pisces is 2 fish, right? So, but both fishies are being upgraded in some way. Now, the full moon for you is in the 8th house. This is always a heightening of your intuitive faculties. Your dreams, your psychic nudges and hunches are going to be so powerful at this time. And because this is trine to Saturn, and I mean this with no disrespect, but Pisces is quite sort of, sometimes it's, you know, a little bit away or a little bit of a sponge, but because it's connecting so wonderfully to that Saturn, this is intuition that you can trust. It's intuitive nudges and hunches and leanings that you can use in your day-to-day experience. This is finding a way to ground that energy, to bring stability to your visions. It could also be, for some of you as well, and I hope this isn't the case, but it can be a bit of a healing crisis as well. This is a time to look really deeply into yourself, to see the wounds, the psychological challenges, and or the patterns that are underneath the surface. What are your bad habits? Where do you sort of get in your own way because of the things that you use to escape the world? Now, I know that sounds like 12th house stuff, but it really feels like it needs to be said here. So the 8th house is sexual, ecstatic, it's taboo. It's very much the place where we hide from the world. And with a spotlight here, it could be revealing of self that makes you feel somewhat exposed. So this full moon could have you kind of feeling like, oh, you know, I feel like I got my pants around my ankles at the moment. Is it cold in here, or is it just me? It does, though, because of the revealing that it's doing of those deeper layers of you. It does bring not only a profound sense of healing, but it makes you feel more complete and more solid within yourself. And, you know, that's the goal of everything, is it not? So this full moon is square to Pluto, and friendships or group ties could be a bit more tense than usual. It could also be a time where friends or acquaintances are revealed to be something more than that. So for some of you, this could be maybe you realize like you've got a friend or whatever that actually you kind of fancy, or they fancy you. For some of you, this could also be that a friend is revealed to be a frenemy, and actually you're like, you know what? No, it doesn't, like, it's going to be different for each one of you, but it's worth considering here. Square to the sun in your 2nd house of your money. Money matters and your higher goals for your financial future might require a bit more of a sobering look in order to come to fruition. There's nothing to say that they can't. It's just that you're having to be a bit more realistic than optimistic at the moment about them. It's really encouraging you to get real about some of your monetary ideas, understandings, belief, goals, etc. Like, it's almost like saying you can have what you want, but how grounded in reality is that? And more importantly, where is it that you are or aren't supporting that yourself? It's one thing to ask the universe to send you more money, but if you're pissing it all away on, you know, God knows what else, or, you know, you're never really asking for people that owe you money to give you money, like you're having to really get real about where you're having a hand in your money not being as solid as you would like it to be. Your first house is packed. Gosh, Jupiter and Neptune, both your ancient and modern rulers, amplifying your psychic awareness, deepening your sense that things can and will work themselves out. Venus is bringing sweetness and honey kisses to your situation, and then Mars is bringing you action, passion and energy to make changes as you need to. Jupiter and Neptune are sextile to the North Node, which is helping you enjoy like your local environment, or at least become more aware of what is actually there for you. It could also be a time where you're called, where your work is called to become a little bit more serious. So this could be new responsibilities. It could be, you know, promises of promotion. It could be where your boss says, look, you know, we want to move you to the next level, but this is what we require from you in order to do that. It really is like a reality check in that regard, but it could be really great for you at the same time. Venus then exalted in your sign, and whenever Venus comes into our sign, especially our first house, it makes us more beautiful, more appealing, or if it transits your sun as well, actually, it just makes you more, you know, appealing to everybody, including the opposite sex, if that's your thing, or the same sex, if that's your thing. This could be your ability to think outside of the box when it comes to your home and living situation. For some of you, this might be about making a radical decision. So, you know, maybe some of you say, right, that's it, I'm moving halfway up the country, or actually, you know what, I'm moving abroad. This could see you setting a deadline around that to say, yeah, I know where I'm going next and I'm going to build my way towards it. For some, this could be international. For some, it could be long distance. For some, it might mean that you're ready to connect with new things and people that help you to understand what your future looks like and how you can live a life that feels more authentically you in every single way and every single day expression. So that is the Libra full moon. Let me know in the comments, do you love it? Do you loathe it? What does this say for your sign? How does this speak to you? And does it track with everything that you are experiencing or that you think might be coming in for you over the course of the next, well, few days at this point? With that said, thank you so much. I truly hope this helps, and I will see you again for the Taurus solar eclipse. Take care, and I'll see you soon.